The Louisiana Bayou. It's a place of breathtaking beauty, but also of deep, dark secrets. For generations, folks have whispered tales of things that lurk beneath the murky, cypress-stained water, things that sing in the dead of night. This is the story of Luke, a fisherman who learned that some songs should never be followed. The fog hung heavy that evening, thick as a wool blanket, smothering the sounds of the swamp. All Luke could hear was the gentle lapping of water against his small fishing boat and the distant call of a night heron. He'd been out on these waters his whole life, knew every twist and turn of the channels like the back of his hand. But tonight felt different. An eerie silence had fallen, the kind that makes the hair on your arm stand up. That's when he heard it. A voice. It was faint at first, a soft, melodic humming that seemed to drift on the mist itself. It was a woman's voice, impossibly beautiful, a sound so pure and enchanting it seemed to pull at something deep inside his soul. He'd never heard anything like it. Curiosity, stronger than any common sense, took hold. He cut the motor, letting his boat drift, trying to pinpoint the source of the bewitching sound. The song grew stronger, clearer, weaving a melody that promised, well, he wasn't sure what it promised, but he knew he had to find it. He grabbed a paddle and began to push his boat silently through the tangled roots of the cypress trees, the glowing eyes of alligators watching him pass from the banks like silent reptilian sentinels. The air grew colder, and the fog swirled around him, creating ghostly shapes in the pale moonlight. The song led him to a small hidden cove he'd never seen before, and there, perched on a moss-covered stump, was a figure. It was hard to make out through the shifting mist, but it glowed with a soft, otherworldly luminescence, like a trapped moonbeam. It was the shape of a woman, her form hazy and indistinct, but the source of the song was undeniable. It poured from her, filling the small clearing with a sound that was both haunting and irresistible. As he drifted closer, his boat bumping gently against a submerged log, the figure turned its head. He couldn't see a face, just a brighter concentration of that strange, ethereal light. A voice, clear as a bell, echoed in his mind, though her form's lips, if she had any, did not move. "You've come," it said. "The water is so warm, so peaceful. Dive in, join the song." Luke was mesmerized, his hand already on the gunwale, ready to heed the call. The water below looked dark and inviting, promising an end to all his worldly troubles. The song was inside his head now, a pulsing rhythm that matched his own heartbeat. Dive in. It felt like the most natural thing in the world. But just as he was about to lean over, a memory flashed through his mind. His wife, Sarah, smiling at him from their porch that morning, telling him to be safe. That single grounding thought was just enough to break the spell. He shook his head, trying to clear the fog from his mind as well as the air. "No," he whispered, his voice hoarse. I can't." The moment he spoke, the beautiful song twisted into a discordant shriek of pure rage. The glowing figure lunged, or perhaps just dissolved, into the water with a violent splash. Suddenly, his small boat began to rock violently, not from the gentle current, but as if something massive was pushing it from below. He scrambled for the pull cord on his motor, his heart hammering against his ribs. Then, the hands came. Pale, wrinkled, and unnervingly strong, they burst from the water, gripping the sides of his boat. More and more of them appeared, clawing at the wood, their long fingers trying to find purchase to pull him over the side. He could hear a cacophony of hissing and gurgling whispers rising from the dark water, a chorus of drowned voices all urging him to join them. With a surge of adrenaline-fueled panic, Luke finally got the motor to roar to life. He slammed it into gear, not caring which way he was going, just needing to get away. The boat shot forward, tearing one of the hands from its grip. He risked a glance back and saw them, dozens of pale, grasping limbs reaching from the churning water before the fog swallowed the cove behind him. He didn't slow down until he saw the familiar lights of the boat launch. He practically threw the boat onto its trailer, his hands shaking so badly he could barely fasten the straps. He drove home in a daze, the unholy shriek of the siren and the gurgling whispers still echoing in his ears. When he stumbled through his front door, Sarah rushed to him, her face etched with worry. "Luke, what happened? You look like you've seen a ghost." He just shook his head, unable to form the words, and collapsed into a chair, trembling. He couldn't bring himself to tell her what he'd seen. How could he? She'd think he'd gone crazy. Later that night, trying to wash the grime and the fear away, he stared at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. His eyes looked haunted, his face pale. As he looked, he saw his reflection in the small puddle of water on the counter from his wet hands. For a split second, the mouth of his reflection twisted into a cruel smile, and he heard it again, faint and tinny, coming from the water itself. The siren's song. He recoiled, splashing the water away, his heart pounding anew. He thought it was over. He thought he had escaped. But the swamp doesn't let go that easily. A week later, Sarah was walking past the bathroom. The door was closed, and she could hear the water running for the tub. She smiled, thinking Luke was finally relaxing. But then she heard him humming. She pressed her ear to the door, a knot of unease tightening in her stomach. It was a beautiful melodic tune she'd never heard before. But the sound wasn't coming from the air. It was muffled, distorted, bubbling up from beneath the surface of the water, a song that didn't belong to the world of the living. The swamp had followed him home. Thanks for joining me on this chilling journey into the bayou. Sometimes the most beautiful things hide the darkest dangers. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there, and maybe stay out of the fog.